God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of rain, for purple
we have
mountains.
nukes for that. That
Majesty.
is defeating NATO.
Above the fruiting plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and he crowned thy good.
The globalists have long used war, Nate, to advance the cause of globalism. That was the whole purpose of World War I, to get us into the League of Nations. And they had the Treaty of Versailles so onerous towards Germany that when the Treaty of Versailles was rejected by the United States Senate, the provisions of the Treaty of Versailles were so onerous that it guaranteed that Germany would rearm again and go to war again. That gave us World War II. We got the United Nations out of World War II, but it doesn't have any enforcement power. It doesn't have any real military power. It doesn't have any taxing power. It doesn't even have the kind of regulatory power that the EU has, which is another form of globalism, more advanced. So they need one more world war to get us into a global world government.
It is a direct threat from a Russian commander broadcast on Russian state TV. He says Russia cannot win the war he clearly believes it is fighting without nukes.
We realize that our resources, of course, have their limits, and the next spiral of escalation can only be one, nuclear. And we don't have the resources to defeat the NATO bloc with conventional means, but we have nuclear weapons for that.
Nuclear weapons. That commander's cavalier certainty about nuclear weapons is chilling. And it comes as the war is now on the verge of a dangerous new phase. CNN is learning the United States is now finalizing plans to send the most sophisticated air defense systems on the planet to Ukraine. We're talking about the U.S. Patriot missiles that Ukraine, frankly, has been pounding the table asking for since the war began. The system can take down tactical ballistic missiles, cruise-type missiles, aircraft as well. Now, for Russia, Patriot missiles have been positioned as a red line. The former Russian president, Dmitry Medvedev, has warned NATO against providing Ukraine with them, saying that if NATO did that, the Western alliance would immediately become a legitimate target of Russian armed forces. Those are powerful words, and based on Medvedev's words, Putin clearly views this move as an escalation.
Comments from the U.S. president suggesting Russian threats to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine have put the world on the brink of Armageddon.
Around the war in Ukraine has increased. Joe Biden warned the world is facing Armageddon if Vladimir Putin uses his nuclear strikes as the world enters what could be the early days of World War III.
Going to talk about major pillaging. Store shelves are going to be empty. There's going to be no water. There's going to be no sewer. There's going to be no import of food. I even doubt if a lot of policemen are going to come to work if there's mobs roaming the street and threatening their families. Would you come to work? You know, if there were mobs coming down the street, you'd stay and protect your family.
taking merchandise. Word for it, it's what we're seeing. There's just too many people here that are looking to cause trouble. And there's a flashbang again, and the crowd will disperse. That thing like this, the crowd will coalesce and that they're willing to do that. That was firework.
EMP strike takes about 8 or 9, even possibly 10 nuclear weapons to blanket the entire American and Canadian grid. We really depend on missile systems to do it, and we are really way behind. The United States has a new ballistic missile on the table, which they're supposed to have by 2030. I am anticipating this world war will happen before 2030, just because the Chinese and Russians know that a new missile is coming, and they're going to want to strike before that new missile is deployed, because it will be much more sophisticated.
A new Ipsos poll of 33 countries found that the vast majority of people within all the countries surveyed thought that the possibility of World War III was extremely likely. The 4 developing theaters for the Third World War are the Middle East, the Korean Peninsula, Eastern Europe, and the South China Sea. The probability of the war in Ukraine escalating to the nuclear level in 2023 is extremely high.
В принципе, я уже привыкла так, то, что нам отключают. В принципе, я нахожу себе работу там. Теперь у меня не с кем погулять, не с кем пообщаться там. Я поднимаюсь иногда и спрыгиваю, то есть чего-то там. Например, так. Вот это у нас бак с водой, там мама здесь моет посуду. Здесь еще у нас лежит пища. Там роллтон всякие, суп роллтон, острая лапша роллтон и батончики всякие.
They've been coming here more and more as shelling increases around the city, doing everything they can to make it feel like home.
So what is the first thing you're going to do when the war is over?
Я хочу пойти первое в парк, увидеть, услышать тишину, то есть ведь выстраивают новые дома там. Во всей стране мне бы хотелось мира.